The views expressed on this program are those of the producers and individuals appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Sun Prairie Media Center staff, its video service providers, or the staff and elected officials of the City of Sun Prairie.
I'm Hanson, and today I'm really excited. I'm going to share some fun new recipes with you. Really simple recipes that look amazing when they're done. And these are going to be perfect just for, every day, for a fun weekend get-together, or we've got Easter brunch coming up, and these are going to be some fun recipes to kind of mix up your brunch routine if you are hosting or going somewhere else for Easter. So we are going to start with making a Dutch baby. Now it's actually not a Dutch dish. It's not from the Netherlands. It's a pancake. It was probably originally put together here in the U.S. in the early 1900s by some people that were maybe from the Netherlands, but it actually originated here in the United States. And it's basically a big pancake. We're going to get the batter ready here. In the oven, I'm preheating the oven to 425 degrees, and we have our new 10-inch cast iron skillet in there, and it's heating up along with the oven. So we're going to let that heat up for a few minutes. We're going to get our batter ready. Then we'll take the cast iron out, we'll pour our batter in and throw it back in the oven for a little while and let it bake. So it should all puff up, and then it'll kind of deflate and make like this big bowl. It's like a big pancake bowl. It's really cool. I can't wait to show you. So we're going to start out by making that batter, and we need 3 eggs. All right, and then we need 1/2 cup of milk. We're going to whisk these together. And we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. And a teaspoon of vanilla. Then we'll whisk it together again, and we're going to add in some flour. And then our batter will be ready. Now you may notice that different from most pancakes, there's no leavening agents in here. There's no baking powder, no baking soda. Okay? This is going to be a kind of a flatter pancake. It's going to be thick, but it's going to be flat. And instead of your traditional pancake where you kind of sear both sides, cook both sides on a stovetop, like I said, this is going to be in a cast iron skillet in the oven. We're just going to pour it in, throw it in the oven, and just let it sit. So the batter is not super thick. It's a pretty runny batter. Now we've talked about before when we're baking that we kind of leave a little bit of clumpiness there because as things bake, as things rise, that's what makes it a little bit lighter and fluffier. But with this recipe, I think we're going to try to get it a little bit smoother. We're just going to set this aside. I'm going to go check the oven, bring the cast iron out, and I'll be right back. All right, this pan is nice and hot. We are preheated to 425. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 tablespoons of butter, kind of cut them apart. We're going to throw them in the pan. And then we're just going to swirl them around. All right, so now we've got our butter melted. What we're going to do is we are just going to take our batter and we're going to pour it in the pan, and we're going to throw this back in the oven for 20 minutes. All right, we've got it set for 425. So we're going to put this back in the oven for 20 minutes, and then we're going to turn the heat down to 350 and let it go another 5 minutes. So give us another quick whisk. We'll pour this in. All right, we'll put this back in the oven for 20 minutes. All right, while that Dutch baby is cooking, we are going to get some fillings ready, because when that comes out and it's this nice big bowl shape, we're going to put inside some fresh strawberries, blueberries, love of whipped cream. It's going to be so pretty. So we need to get everything ready. So our strawberries, we don't need very many of them. Only need about a cup. I've got more than enough here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hull enough strawberries to fit on the quick slice. Is really all we need. And we'll get those all sliced up and set aside, ready to go. I've got some fresh blueberries all rinsed off, all ready to go. We'll have those set aside. And then we're going to make some homemade whipped cream. All right, so we've got those all sliced up, ready to go. Beautiful slices of strawberries. You can just leave those right there. And we're going to get our whipped cream ready to go. So, in the whipped cream maker, you need some heavy whipping cream. It's about 1 cup that goes in. There's an etched line right on there, which makes it really easy. We don't have to get out a measuring cup. We just pour the whipping cream up to that line. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of vanilla. About a teaspoon. Now, other ways you can mix up this whipped cream, you can do totally different flavors, whatever you'd like. Maybe you want to put a little bit of cocoa powder in there and make it chocolate whipped cream. Maybe you want to put in some cinnamon and make it a cinnamon whipped cream. Maybe you're making an adult beverage in the morning and you want to put a little Baileys in there, like hot chocolate with some whipped cream with Baileys in it. So good. Or rum chata. All right, so we've got the whipping cream, the vanilla, and we're going to put 1 or 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar in there, depending on how sweet you like it. I like my whipped cream on the sweeter side, so I put 2 heaping tablespoons in there. And then just put the top on, and we pump for 30 seconds. All right, so you want to check on your whipped cream periodically. I find I like really thick whipped cream, and I'll start noticing some bubbles along the bottom, along the side while I'm pumping when I'm getting close. But you can check anytime, just lift the handle to the top, lift it up. Oh, that is nice and thick. I think we're going to leave it right there. So I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to throw this in the fridge until we're ready. What's really nice is the base comes off and turns into our lid. So I can just plop this in the fridge, keep it nice and cool until we are ready to eat. We've got our strawberries sliced, we've got our blueberries ready to go, and Dutch Baby's in the oven. It's looking good. I can't wait to show you that. While we're waiting for that to get finished up, I am going to get things cleaned up and ready for our next recipe. All right, guys, it's been 5 minutes. It's time to take the Dutch Baby out. Can't wait to show this to you. We're going to leave the oven at 350 for our dessert we're going to make. But look at that. Look at how well it rised up on the sides. Nice and brown, nice and golden brown in the middle. So we're just going to set this aside and let it cool for a little bit. We'll put those strawberries and whipped cream in there later. We'll put powdered sugar on top and it'll be all ready to serve. So in the meantime, we're going to set this aside and we are going to work on a bright, fresh salad. All right, our next recipe we're going to make is a fried chicken salad. And my friends, I have been loving this recipe so much. My family's been loving it. Ever since that deluxe air fryer came out, we have been making a ton of these chicken strips. And so I'm really excited to show you just how easy it is to make fried chicken strips without oil. Okay, there's a little bit of oil, but they're not like deep fried in oil. All right, so I have chicken tenderloins. You can take chicken breasts, you can cut them in half. You can take chicken thighs and use this, whatever you like. I like the tenderloins, they're ready to go. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take them. All I did was I put them between some paper towel just to dry them out a bit. Get all that juice off of them. We're gonna throw them in to the batter bowl here. We're gonna put a little bit of oil on them. It can be olive oil, canola, whatever you like to use. And we're gonna put some garlic rub on them. And we'll just get them all ready to go. A couple tablespoons of oil and some garlic rub. And we'll just kind of toss those. Now these are the tongs that go with our coating tray set. which we're going to use in just a few minutes. Now, of course, when you make these with your family, you can totally play with these flavors too. That's the great thing about cooking, is you can totally try all sorts of different flavors. If garlic is not your thing, maybe you put like a steak seasoning on here and get some nice robust flavor. Maybe you try Southwest seasoning and make it kind of like a Southwest chicken. You can do whatever you want. But we're going to go with the nice light garlic today to go with our salad. So once you have your chicken ready, we are going to get our breading ready. So here's our coating tray set. I'm going to work from my left to my right. So the first thing we'll have is some flour. In the middle section, we're going to have 2 eggs. And we're going to whisk that together with a little bit of milk. And then, in the last section, our breading is going to be cornflakes. So in the manual food processor, I just have about 3 cups of cornflakes. We're just going to chop them up until it's pretty fine. We don't want it to be a complete powder. We'd like to have some of those crispy flakes. That's what's going to make it look like flaky, crispy chicken. But we don't want them to be these whole flakes that we have now. So we are going to chop them up a bit. That looks pretty good. So we'll just put those in there. You can see we have some a little bit bigger flakes, lots of tiny flakes. We'll set this aside. All right, now our chicken is going to be cooked in the deluxe air fryer. It only takes about 10 minutes to cook, so quick and easy. This is definitely something you can do for a weeknight if you want to make homemade chicken tenders for your family. But we're going to get these put together, we'll put them in the air fryer, and then we'll finish the rest of our salad. All right, so here's how this works. We're going to start with our chicken, and first they go in the flour. So you've got the oil, you've got the garlic rub on there, and then we put them in the flour. We'll work in batches. You'll notice I kind of pat them down in the flour a little bit, just to try to make sure that we get flour over all the surfaces. Pick them up, put them in the egg mixture. Again, get both sides. And then they go into your cornflakes. We're going to line them up. I've got the 2 trays that go in the air fryer. I like to have them sitting on a cutting board, ready to go, just to catch any flakes that fall off. And we're just going to take our chicken tenders, and we're going to line them up on the 2 trays, and we'll put them in the air fryer. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these ready. All right, look at this. We've got all of our chicken tenders ready to go. Don't those look amazing? We are going to put these trays right in our deluxe air fryer. I'm going to put 1 tray in the middle, 1 tray on the top. Close it up. We're going to turn to air fry and change the time to 10 minutes. And press start. Now, in 5 minutes, it's going to beep at me, and I'm just going to swap those trays, switch the top and the bottom. But in the meantime, we are going to work on prepping the rest of our salad. So I'm going to set these things aside and get the salad ingredients out. All right, just beeped. I'm getting everything ready for the salad, but oh my gosh, it just beeped. So we're just going to go ahead and swap these trays, close the door, and so keep on cooking. They're going to be done in another 5 minutes. I haven't even finished getting everything ready for the salad. That's how quick this is. All right, but for our salad, here's what we've got going on. We're going to have some lettuce, some carrots, some cucumber. We're going to make our own dressing, grate some cheese. It's going to be so good. So we're going to start with our lettuce. Lettuce is washed and dried. Just cut the ends off here. We're just going to put the lettuce right in the bowl and use our salad choppers to chop it up. Once our lettuce is all chopped up, we can set that aside. We are going to get our other veggies all ready to go. So So our carrots, we are going to start by, of course, peeling them. And then we're going to use the grater, actually, the coarse grater, and we're going to grate up the carrots, we're going to grate up the cheese. All right, with the cucumber, we're going to make it look kind of fancy. We're going to take our new julienne peeler, and we're just going to lightly go down the sides, just a couple times in a couple of places. Cut the ends off of our cucumber, cut it in half, cut it in half this way, and then we're going to use our quick slice. These are going to be all ready to put on top of our salad. Now we're going to get out the grater, we're going to grate up some carrots, we're going to grate up some cheese, we're going to put that on top as well. All right, guys, our chicken's done already. I'm just going to let it sit in there, stay warm, while we finish our salad. This is so quick and easy. Can you even believe that the chicken is done before the salad's ready? All right, so we're going to grate some cheese, a couple ounces, and then we're going to grate our carrots. And we're going to just use the coarse grater again for the carrots. Just kind of cut them in half. I think we'll start with just one carrot. Lots of carrot from there. All right, and then we're going to make our salad dressing. All right, so new measure, mix, and pour. We just dump everything in, shake it up, and we are good to go. So we are going to start with a half of a cup of buttermilk. Now we're making a nice honey mustard dressing, which is going to be just so perfect with those chicken strips and that fresh salad. We're going to use 1 small container of Greek yogurt. If you have a big tub of Greek yogurt, it's about 3/4 of a cup that you need. All right, we're also going to add some honey and some yellow mustard. We need about 1/4 of a cup of each, so that's 4 tablespoons. The little measure-all cup is perfect for our honey and our mustard. And you just need plain yellow mustard, nothing fancy. And then just a couple more quick ingredients. We are going to put in about 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, a little color, a little flavor, and then a tablespoon of white wine vinegar. And, of course, just a little dash of salt. All right, so all we're going to do is we're going to put the top on here, and we shake it up. All right, and our dressing is ready to go. It is time to get that chicken out and see how that looks. All right, also on top of this salad, we are going to put some fresh grapes. So I have some red seedless grapes. We're just going to cut them in half. So we're going to take a handful of them, and we're going to put them on the close and cut, because that is the quick way to cut them in half. Remember, nice long sharp knife. And our grapes are cut in half. Love how easy that is. All right, so we're gonna throw our grapes in there, and then it is time to check out the chicken. So we're going to just take one of these trays out. Look at those chicken tenders. Aren't those just absolutely amazing? We're going to take these off. Look at, they come off the trays so easily. Now, these chicken tenders, we've let them rest for a few minutes inside the deluxe air fryer. We're just going to slice them up, make them look real pretty at an angle here. You can see how juicy they are, that nice crispy outside. All right, and then when it's time to serve, we will put some of that fresh honey mustard dressing on there. We'll toss it to get everything nice and coated, and it'll be all ready to serve. Or you can keep the dressing on the side, your choice. But here we have our fried chicken salad. And of course, this would also be great when your chicken is cold. The next day you can put cold chicken on there, you can keep it warm, whatever you prefer. So we're gonna set this aside, and the last recipe we're going to make today is a wonderful, beautiful dessert. All right, for dessert today, these desserts are going to be just so adorable. I cannot wait for you to see them. They're called petit fours, and it's a French name, but really they're just like small little appetizer bites. We're going to use the brand new brownie bite pan. We're going to make like an orange cake in here, and then we're going to make a raspberry glaze to put on top of them. So we'll do these little orange raspberry petit fours, little tiny mini cakes. So we're going to start with just some white cake mix, 1 3/4 cup. It's not necessarily a whole package, so you might have some left over in your package. Okay, we're going to just put that in our batter bowl. And we're going to use the zest of an orange. So we actually need about a tablespoon of zest. Little trick for you here. I like to hold my zester kind of upside down like this, because when you hold your zester this way and you're trying to zest, trying to measure out how much you have is very difficult. So if you want a tablespoon of zest and you want to know how much you have, flipping it this way means you can collect the zest in the zester as you move. Just keep going until we have about a tablespoon. Now you can eyeball it, or you can throw it into a little measuring cup and you can measure from there. We're actually going to need about 1.5 tablespoons. We're going to use the other 1/2 tablespoon as a garnish on top of our little cakes when they're done. So we'll get everything zested now, but the first tablespoon is going to go right into our cake mix. Like I said, the rest of the zest is going to be used as the garnish on top. So if we have a little extra or not quite enough, we'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to put this first tablespoon of the zest right into our bowl here. Maybe give it just a hair more. And then we'll save the rest of this for later. And we want to get about 1.5 cups of juice from them. So slice those in half. We're going to use the juicer here, and it has measure markers on it. We need 1.5 cups, and this will hold about 8 ounces. So we're going to have to fill it, empty it, and fill it again. You really want to push down and kind of keep rotating and keep turning it. Move where your fingers are on the outside of the orange as you're juicing, putting different pressure on different parts of the orange to really squeeze all that juice out. All right, into our cake mix, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm just using regular vegetable oil here. And then we need 2 egg whites. So if you don't have an egg separator, carefully crack your egg in half. Kind of slowly pour back and forth. You'll notice that white kind of falls off right into your bowl. And you'll have the egg yolk left. And if you're nervous, you can do this over a smaller dish, just in case you accidentally break that yolk. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna whisk this all together. Make sure to get all of that cake mix in there. You can see that bright orange color, you can see that zest in there, the nice color from the orange juice coming through. All right, we're gonna get our pan ready to go. So with the brownie bites pan, all we're gonna do is we're gonna spritz a little oil. So just use the kitchen spritzer, and we're gonna get some oil in here. All right, after you spray some oil in there, I like to just take the basting brush and just make sure that we have all the wells covered. Now this is a non-stick pan. These little cakes are gonna drop out quite easily, but having a little bit of oil in there just helps make sure. All right, so after we get all these wells kind of oiled up, we're just gonna put our batter in. And I'm going to go ahead and use the small scoop. The small scoop is going to be the perfect size for our batter when we go and put our icing, our glaze on top of these little cakes. So we're just going to split this up evenly amongst all the wells and the small scoop makes it super easy to make sure that each one has an equal amount. Now after these wells are filled, I'm just going to put this pan in the oven. We have it set to 350, and it's going to go in for about 13 to 15 minutes, just until these little cakes are done. We'll take them out, we'll let them cool for a few minutes, and then we'll put the glaze on top. And we'll make that glaze while they're cooking. It'll be a nice, beautiful, bright pink glaze with some fresh raspberries in there, some raspberry jam. This is going to be a great spring dish. The colors are going to be perfect for Easter. Now we want a heaping scoop of batter in each well. A little more difficult to do when you have a slightly runnier batter like we have right now. So after I have this last well filled, I'm just going to go back and kind of put a little bit extra in just to use up this batter. But again, the scoop makes it very easy to control how much batter you're pouring in. Much easier than just trying to pour it straight from the bowl. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 350 for about 13 to 15 minutes. We'll take them out and we'll get them all frosted. So I'm going to put this in and then we'll make that glaze. Alright, our little cakes are in the oven. We're going to get the glaze ready. So for the glaze, we are going to use 2½ cups of powdered sugar, 1/4 cup of milk, and 1/3 cup of raspberry jam. So we have our 2½ cups of powdered sugar. Glazes are nice. They're usually pretty thick, and they kind of will harden a little bit after you glaze your food. But it's really a lot of powdered sugar and not a lot of liquid. So it may seem like the ratios will be off, but I promise they'll be okay. So I got that milk started in there. Get that raspberry jam in there. And we're just going to whisk this all together. It's going to turn a nice pink color. It's going to be a beautiful contrast to those little orange cakes. All right. So there we go, there's our glaze. So when our little cakes come out of the oven, we're just going to put them on the cooling rack, let them cool for a few minutes, and we're going to take that small scoop again and just put a little bit of glaze over each one. And then we'll put the little zest on top, and they'll be ready to serve. All right guys, look at our adorable little cakes. Aren't those just great? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our cooling rack, set it on top here, and we're going to flip these over. Alright, so after these have cooled for a few minutes, we'll just go ahead and lift our pan off. And look at that, they all popped out. I love this pan. Oh my gosh, and they smell so good. Like fresh oranges, nice and bright in here. Great, great, bright flavors. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to just put that glaze on top. So we've got our glaze here that we made. And we're just going to set the whisk aside. We're going to get out our small scoop again. Now you're going to want to do this over a cutting board or over some parchment paper, over a surface that's really easy to clean up, because we're just going to put a scoop on top of each one, and you're going to see that some of the glaze is going to drip over the sides and it's going to drip down. Now the sides are not going to get covered completely. We'll show you what that looks like here. You're still going to be able to see some of the cake showing through. But you're going to have that nice, pretty glaze right on top. So we're just going to glaze each one of these. And then we'll put that orange zest that we saved right on top. And they are going to be just adorable. This is one of those desserts that you can take with to brunch, you can take to a party, and they just look really, really fancy. But what's really nice is that they were really quite simple to make. And then you'll just want to leave these on your cooling rack until they cool a little bit more, harden up a little bit. And then you can transfer them to whatever platter you would like for serving. And then we just take our zest And you can just sprinkle a little bit of zest onto the tops. And once we have these done, I am going to show you what that Dutch baby looks like with all of its toppings on there, and then we are going to be ready for brunch. All right, check out our Dutch baby. We've let it cool just a little bit here. We are going to get some toppings on there. We're going to put some fresh blueberries inside and those freshly sliced strawberries. Put those slices inside and a big dollop of whipped cream, and then this is going to be all ready to go. All right. Our whipped cream that's been in the fridge, staying nice and chilled. Big dollop in the middle there. And then we're going to finish it all off with some powdered sugar. That is a great dish to wow anybody for brunch. All right, we're going to give you guys a quick recap of all of the recipes, and then you guys are going to be ready for Easter brunch. All right, guys, there you have it. How beautiful are these recipes today? And they were all so simple. We started with our Dutch baby, so easy. Preheat that pan in the oven, get your batter ready, pour it in, and just let it go. I love how it just rises up the sides all by itself. We topped it off with some fresh fruit and some fresh whipped cream, some powdered sugar. This is just such a beautiful, beautiful dish to serve, and it was so simple to make. Then we have our salad. Our fried chicken salad. Fried chicken done in 10 minutes in the deluxe air fryer. The homemade dressing is just as easy as shaking it up. And we'll just drizzle that on top when it's time to serve. And then our little petit four. Look at how fancy you can be. But they were so easy to make. They've got that bright orange flavor with that beautiful tart raspberry on top. And they just look so nice with that little bit of zest to just brighten them up. So, when you're getting ready for Easter brunch, these are some really great recipes to keep in mind for some nice, fresh fruits and veggies, beautiful colors, and really quite impressive looking dishes. So if you'd like to get these recipes, learn anything about these products and more, go ahead and go over to pamperedchef.com. You can search for me, Rachel Hanson, or your local Pampered Chef consultant. And as always, we want to thank Sunshine Supper for letting us use their amazing kitchen. So for those of you local in Sun Prairie, coming out on a Monday night for a free meal. We will see you next time.